GM just did something that has the entire car world scratching its head. In an age where every automaker is doubling down on smart tech and seamless connectivity, GM decided to walk the opposite road, removing one of the most loved features drivers rely on every single day. It's a move that's got car enthusiasts, tech lovers, and even loyal GM fans asking the same question: why? Why would one of America's biggest car brands make such a risky and controversial decision at a time when competition has never been tougher? What exactly did GM do, and could this decision actually reshape or ruin their future in the automotive world? Let's find out. Step inside, and the cabin immediately feels premium. You're greeted by a massive 17.7-inch touchscreen angled toward the driver, paired with an 11-inch digital cluster. The layout feels clean, modern, and distinctly GM. The seats are supportive, the materials are high quality, and the ambient lighting adds a high-tech touch. It's the kind of interior that makes you think, okay, GM finally gets it. The 2026 Chevrolet Blazer EV was supposed to be GM's statement piece, their big, bold step into the electric future. With its striking design, modern tech, and the credibility of one of America's oldest automakers behind it, the Blazer EV looked ready to take on giants like Tesla and Ford head-on. This wasn't just another electric crossover, it was meant to be proof that GM could lead the EV revolution, not just follow it. GM has been building cars for over a century, and through ups and downs, it's remained a symbol of American innovation. From the muscle car era to the rise of electric mobility, GM has seen it all. So when they launched the Blazer EV, sleek, powerful, and forward-looking, expectations were sky-high. But then, GM made a surprising move that left everyone stunned. They announced that their future electric vehicles would no longer support Apple CarPlay or Android Auto, two of the most popular smartphone connectivity systems in the world. Instead, they're replacing them with GM's own in-car software, powered by Google's built-in ecosystem. At first glance, it might sound like progress, a move toward deeper integration and smoother updates. But many drivers are wondering, is GM pushing innovation, or just taking away something people actually love? And that's what we're here to find out. Because this decision could change how millions of Americans connect to their cars in the years ahead. So let's take a closer look at what the Blazer EV brings to the table and where GM's gamble might lead them. But here's where things start to get interesting. Despite all that impressive design and innovation, GM has taken away the ability to use Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, the two systems that nearly 80% of drivers in the US depend on for navigation, music, and hands-free calls. Instead, the Blazer EV relies entirely on GM's own infotainment platform, built in collaboration with Google. This means everything runs through Google Maps, Google Assistant, and built-in apps. There's no need to plug in your phone, and updates will come over the air. Sounds convenient, right? But here's the catch: if you prefer Apple Maps, Spotify from your phone, or your usual iMessage interface, you're out of luck. It's a big shift in how people interact with their cars. GM claims this will allow better integration with vehicle data like energy use, range estimates, and navigation optimized for EV charging. But it also means GM will control more of what you see and do inside your car. On the outside, the 2026 Chevrolet Blazer EV looks futuristic and confident. It's got sharp, athletic lines, a bold front grille, and an LED light bar that stretches across the nose, giving it that unmistakable EV identity. The SS trim, in particular, commands attention with performance-inspired styling and aggressive wheel arches. It feels like GM's designers took lessons from both muscle cars and modern EVs and found the perfect middle ground. The base trims offer solid power, but the range-topping Blazer EV SS cranks things up to an estimated 557 horsepower and 648 pound-feet of torque. That's enough to push this SUV from 0 to 60 in under 4 seconds. Range estimates vary between 247 to 320 miles depending on trim, which puts it right in the mix with Tesla's Model Y and Ford's Mustang Mach-E. Charging is quick too, with DC fast charging capable of adding around 78 miles of range in about 10 minutes. GM's Ultium platform gives it impressive structural balance, a low center of gravity, and responsive steering that feels planted and confident on the road. So yes, the Blazer EV delivers where it counts in power, range, and style. But when you step back and realize what's missing, the simple, familiar smartphone experience most drivers rely on, it starts to feel like something important has been taken away. And just wait until you hear how GM plans to handle software updates, data tracking, and subscriptions, because that's where this story gets even more complicated. Now, let's talk about performance, because that's where the Blazer EV really shines. Here's where everything we've discussed comes to a head. When you finally get behind the wheel of the Blazer EV, it's hard not to be impressed. The acceleration is instant, you tap the pedal, and it launches with quiet authority. The ride is smooth, refined, and surprisingly composed for an SUV this size. The steering feels precise, and the regenerative braking is tuned just right. It's clear GM knows how to build an electric performer. But then, your eyes drift to that giant center screen and you realize something feels off. There's no familiar CarPlay interface. No Android Auto logo. You can't mirror your phone, use Apple Maps, or open your favorite messaging app. Instead, everything runs through GM's ecosystem. It looks sleek, it works smoothly, but it's not yours. On paper, this system gives GM more control and allows for future updates that could, in theory, make your car smarter over time. But for everyday drivers, it's a jarring shift. You don't realize how much you rely on that phone integration until it's gone. So now we're left with a car that performs incredibly well, looks stunning, and feels futuristic, yet somehow manages to feel a little disconnected from the driver. And that's the irony. In chasing high-tech innovation, GM may have built a car that feels less personal. So the question is, has GM just reinvented the modern car experience, or have they made one of the biggest tech missteps in automotive history? Let's get to the verdict. At the end of the day, the 2026 Chevrolet Blazer EV is both a triumph and a gamble. It shows that GM can still build a performance-oriented electric SUV that looks good, drives great, and competes with the best in the business. The power is there, the range is respectable, and the design finally gives GM that premium edge it's been chasing. But the decision to remove Apple CarPlay and Android Auto? That's a tough one to defend. It's bold, yes, but also risky. GM says this move will make their cars smarter and more connected, but in reality, it might make them feel less connected to the people driving them. For tech enthusiasts who love innovation and use Google's ecosystem every day, this system might feel seamless. It could even become second nature. But for the majority of drivers who simply want their phone to sync easily, it's going to feel like something important has been taken away. And that's the crossroads GM now faces. Do they double down on this strategy, or listen to the customer feedback that's already flooding in? Because this decision isn't just about software, it's about trust, choice, and control. In a market where Tesla dominates headlines and Ford keeps improving its EV lineup, GM can't afford to alienate its audience. This tech gamble could define how the company is remembered in the next decade. So, what do you think? Is GM making a bold leap toward a new future, or have they just made one of the dumbest tech decisions in automotive history? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below, and if you enjoyed this breakdown, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more honest, real-world car reviews. Your opinions drive this channel forward, so tell me, would you still buy a GM EV without CarPlay or Android Auto?